Hello, everyone. It's Giselle with a message for today. And I'd firstly like to thank everyone who watched my last video. It's nothing to do with twin flames, it's just to do with my own personal journey, but I'm very grateful for all of the kind words and also some of your stories that you've shared with me. Some of them I knew about because they are from clients that I regularly have readings with. But others are just from viewers who haven't really interacted with me until this video, and it really shows that I'm not alone. I didn't think I was, but in times of difficulty, you sometimes feel alone, even though logically you know you're not. It's just so hard, even for someone who's been working on themselves for years and been trying to help others for years to realize certain things and to know that I'm not alone and that so many of you support me, and even through just sharing your own experiences and similarities on my journey, it helps so much to hear that it's just something we go through, particularly on a spiritual path. It's something that helps us to grow and helps us to become who we were meant to be. And yes, it's challenging and difficult and very painful and heartbreaking, but ultimately it's to help us, to mold us, to be our best, and to learn the lessons that we came to learn in this lifetime. And as I mentioned, all the healing that I've done over the past year has really pushed the twin flame aspect of my journey aside. Not that I've forgotten about it and not that I don't care anymore, of course I do, but it's just not on the forefront of my thoughts, and it hasn't been. And that's why I felt stuck for the longest time, because I made my channel about the twin flame journey and about how magical and amazing it is and how transformative it is, and it still is. It's just that this really difficult time with me setting myself free from childhood pain and people that were just no longer able to be in my life because of their unwillingness to change and do better. I've really had to push the twin flame aspect of my journey aside and focused on me and my healing and being the best version of myself. So thank you for everyone who shared that they've also had similar things, whether that's friends or family. It's more painful when it's family for some reason, even though logically it should be equally as hard or as easy to let go. Because of society putting this massive emphasis on how family should always be there for each other no matter what, it's just made it extra difficult and extra painful to have to let go of people who are supposed to be family but who just can't be there for you, and who choose to actually not just not be there for you, but to really hurt you and stab you in the back. And it's just really, truly, I wouldn't wish it on anyone, really awful to have to go through that. But if you are in the same boat, know that you are not alone and that there are so many people watching on this channel who are going through similar things as you are. And so I want to go into this time, meaning Aries season, with a renewed sense of hope and a renewed sense of expectancy and love. But I also want to share with you some of the challenges that I faced, some of the thoughts that really are hurtful just because of all the stuff I've been through. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can watch my previous video. I'm sharing my personal story with the difficulties I've experienced on my soul journey. One of these thoughts are that it just seems like people who are not obviously loving, passionate, and caring seem to be able to obtain relationships fairly easily, and it just seems to be okay. And you're thinking, wow, do you even get rewarded for being or striving to be the best version of you when other people just seem to be getting away with a lot worse, like not putting in as much effort, not caring, not being compassionate, and all of those things. Just, I don't know. It's an observation that I've had over the past few days, and of course, it's the part of me that's trying to heal and recover that's making these thoughts a lot more painful and perhaps unnecessarily stretched out. But that's just one of the things I've noticed. It's like a lot of people seem to not care, yet get away with supposedly being in romantic relationships or just, I don't know, better jobs, situations like that. And you think, how is this right? And I guess it's something I'm trying to climb out of and to not give judgment to, but it's tricky because it's just something I've just observed and heard people talking about, and it just seems so unfair. And of course, people can try and argue with you and say, oh, but life's unfair, but it shouldn't be. And that's what we're trying to change about it through our soul journeys, is to make things more fair and more balanced in the way that it should be. But it's something that's very challenging, and this thought has been very heavy, um, weighing on my mind. And of course, despite everything that I've been through, the main thing I'm focusing on is remaining optimistic and hopeful that love will prevail and that things will get better for each and every one of us. And I've started to see a theme with people on this journey, and it feels like the reason why we've chosen the twin flame path to attain our spiritual growth and why others haven't. Some people are on a spiritual journey on their own, and that's great because they've chosen different things to focus on, whereas we have chosen love, romantic love, and unconditional love and acceptance. And that's why the twin flame journey resonates with us, and that's why that has been created for us to experience in this lifetime. And it's because the acceptance and unconditional love has to start with ourselves, has to be created for ourselves. And if we don't feel that for us, then we won't be able to love another in that manner either, because we can only love as much as we are able to experience love for ourselves. And if we look in the mirror and we're critical, then that means we haven't attained it. And the purpose is to get ourselves there, or as close as possible, to just being able to see yourself and go, well, you are lovable and you are a wonderful person and you are perfect just as you are right now. We have to see us the way that we would see our person, through those eyes, through the eyes of you are perfect, you are wonderful as you are right now. And that's why we've gone through such hardship. A lot of us have on this path, whether that's with friends or family. And they've shown us things that we need to be aware of, but that we now need to be able to let go. Say, for instance, in my case, my family couldn't accept me for who I was. They, it was the strangest thing. They didn't like my gift, yet they were happy to use it as and when it benefited them. And that's something that's really challenging to me. And it took me a long time to embrace my gift again, because when I was little, it came natural to me. I could see people who had passed over. I was just a natural medium. And through the years, through being rejected and not accepted and not feeling good enough for something that I couldn't help, it was something that I was just born with, I had to relearn to accept and also embrace and then love that part of myself. But it's something that's taken me a long time. And I know with a lot of you, that was just one example, but there were many things about myself, my appearance, my way of being, my personality, just everything was criticized when I was younger, and I just didn't feel accepted in any way whatsoever. And the most painful thing was that the people who society says should always be there for you and should always accept you for who you are just didn't. And that hurt. It really did. But it was my challenge to therefore give myself what they were not able to give me, to accept myself when they weren't able to accept me, and to eventually not care whether they accepted me or not. And if they couldn't, and if they kept hurting me, then that was just my cue to let them go and to not have them part of my life anymore, because it wasn't doing any good. And the most challenging thing is, because you weren't given that as a natural thing from birth or from when you were younger, growing up, you started to look externally. You started to look outside of you for these things, for approval, for appreciation, for validation. You started to really look outside of you. I know that that was my thing. Even though when I met my twin, I felt that I already had progressed very far and that I already loved myself, part of me still didn't. And I only came to the realization of that earlier this year, when I realized that I, as a way of trying to compensate for not fully accepting myself, was trying to obtain a second degree, which I now realized was just burning the candle at both ends and making me completely depleted. And it wasn't even something I really needed. I wasn't going to improve my abilities, not for the type of work I'm trying to do. My work is spiritual coaching and, you know, psychic readings. And the psychology degree was not going to give me any more abilities for that kind of work. It might have made me understand things from a scientific perspective more, but it wasn't going to help me spiritually. And what I learned was I was just trying to compensate for not feeling 100% worthy or good enough for my beloved and also for my family. Unfortunately, I realized that I was trying to make them accept my business and accept me being self employed in the way that I am more if I had this other degree. And I come to the realization that I didn't need to prove myself. Like, what is another degree going to do? And it brought me back as well to the first time I did it. It was like such hard work and such draining experience that I started getting nightmares about, going to university for the second time, or the third time actually, in the dreams, because I was following another course that I didn't even know what it was, and I would miss all the exams, and then I would freak out because I never received the schedule for the exams, and I didn't even know what course I was on. So it was the most horrific dream, and it would reoccur, and I was thinking, why am I dreaming about this? This is bad. And it's because I wasn't on the path that was the best for me. It wasn't making me happy. It wasn't enriching my experience. And I think I have already told you on this channel before that the reason why I quit is because it just wasn't making me happy. It also wasn't what I thought it was going to be. It was all about medical trials and giving people medicine. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's not what I want to do. I want to be able to help people in a holistic way, in a natural, non medicinal way, through the power of themselves. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to just say to people, "Oh, here's a magic pill that you can swallow and now you won't be depressed anymore." That's just putting a plaster, a band-aid over the wound. It's not healing from within, and it's just a temporary fix. I don't feel it's sufficient, and I don't feel it represents true healing, and that's why I got disappointed and I quit. And after I quit and after I had the massive blow up with my family, I realized that I was just trying to appease them, and that in a small way as well, I was trying to prove myself to my twin. Oh, look, I have this now too, and I can do this. And like, but who cares? And if he can't accept me for who I am, and if my family can't accept me for who I am, then, well, tough. Because I accept myself for who I am. I haven't had this discussion with my twin about all of, my degree and all of that kind of stuff. And it doesn't matter. So I don't know his stance on that at the moment, which it doesn't matter anyway. But all I'm saying is that if someone can't accept you for who you are, then that's their loss and not yours. But what's important is you accepting yourself for who you are. And I'm sure well, not if, but when the day comes, when I'm face to face with my true love and I explain all of this, I explain that I've had to detach from certain people in my life who are supposed to be family but have proven themselves to be not what family is supposed to be like, and that I have attempted to obtain a second degree and that it just didn't work out for me, but that I'm happy in what I'm doing now and have fully embraced my gift without trying to add more things on to prove myself, that they will accept me for who I am, because that's what true love is. And that's what I'm confident in, and that's what gives me strength and determination to continue on what I feel is the right path. And that's why I also don't try to get myself down by the thoughts that I had about, it's not just my thoughts, it's actually thoughts of other people who were asking me this question too, like, why do people who don't put any effort in, or seem to be putting minimal effort in, who don't appear to be very kind, who just kind of skate by very half-heartedly through life, why do they have a partner? Why do they seem to have the things that we want and we still don't have? But then you have to think, well, that's not real, is it? That's a facade. That's not true. That's not... If you were able to love 100%, but they're only loving 25%, would you want to trade places? I don't think so. And I feel that with this renewed season, we're now in Aries, and the new moon has been in Aries. And with this new season, I just want to step into the energy of rebirth, of renewal, of renewed hope, optimism, moving forward and not looking back. And I hope that this message has encouraged those of you who felt like you're on the same path as me and felt equally hurt and lost and in need of a lot of healing, that we can all step forward onto this new path with renewed hope in our hearts. Thank you all so very much for watching and for supporting me, and for all of your kind words on my last video. If you would like to book any of my services, I've put up my April offers. You can get bundles of 4 at 25% off, or bundles of 10 at 40% off. And yeah, I thank you all so very much for watching. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.